How's everybody doing today? It is Monday. We are back. I hope everybody had a fabulous weekend. I certainly did. For those of you that are mothers out there, I hope you had a fabulous Mother's Day. And I know we did. We had a great day. Had a good workout today. Good, really good weekend. And it's pouring down rain here where we're at right now. So I was going to start taking these from outside because my honeydew project included me screening in my front porch this week. So that is done. So we will be outside a lot more often. And today we're going to talk about Miss Beatrice Caruso and whether she's going to use Ozempic or not. And that is the focus of her video. And obviously it's going to be this video too. But I'm just going to just to put it all out there, for if you're new here, I've made videos about this young lady for multiple years now, probably about 4 years. So to Beatrice, I truly mean this, and I say it to everybody. If I've made multiple videos about you, if I've made money from your name in my videos, I have no problem putting my money where my mouth is. I have hope that this woman has really come to a very serious rationalization. I'm going to just... We're just going to stop with all this. I don't agree with everything in this video, but in this video, I find a lot of hope for her and for her to help her audience. And I just wanted to put out there that I would coach you for free for 6 months and sign a non-disclosure agreement to never even discuss with anybody. Beatrice, if you watch this and you are looking for help, I'd sign an NDA. So it would be completely private. And my wife and I would help you try to get a hold of your eating and lose weight and build healthy, sustainable lifestyle habits, because that is what we do for a living. For those of you that are wondering, that my wife and I have an extensive coaching business that we've had for many years now, tons of success, many people losing 100, 150 pounds or more. Coached thousands of people by now, just personally, get alone with the advice online and stuff like that. If you're looking to get coaching, here is the link where you can get coaching, but you can also follow us on Spreely, X, Rumble. It gives you all those links for Evening Rants, which was the header I played up here. But we are going to right now we're going to get going. I'm going to play her at 1.5 speed because it's a 19-minute video and I don't want to be on for 2 hours because I tend to stop a lot and have it, have myself interject. But we are going to get to this right now. Share screen. And that's not going to work. Here we go. Boom. Let's get it going. So when you cut, by the way, pull your fingers in, make it so the blade goes down, angle it slightly away from yourself. You're waiting to chop a finger off there. Just some advice. I'm a pretty good chef, so.
Okay, we have paid sacrifice to the guinea pigs in the form of cucumbers, so maybe they will not scream for like 15, 20 minutes, and we can do this. We can have this conversation without shrieking in the background. Maybe, maybe not. We will see. But we're here to talk.
Okay, I will say this. I'm sure she's not a fan of my delivery, but sometimes I just wonder about how genuine it is. But I'm just saying.
About the elephant.
And again, I like this video. I'm going to point out where I think she's very correct. I'm going to give her advice when I think where it's needed. But And of course, there's stuff like that. I'm not going to disagree with, but I'm going to be me. I'm going to be I'm going to put it out there of what I like and what I don't like, and that's who I am.
Elephant in the room. And so I guess like it's not really an elephant in the room because it's not really this big thing that no one's talking about. It's a big thing that everybody's talking about. You can't get away from it. We're here to talk about Ozempic, ladies. As an obese person on the internet that has tried and failed to lose weight and keep it off publicly for the past 4 years.
What a fabulous admission. What a fabulous admission.
Of course, it has been asked what I feel about this and if I would consider taking it. So this is what this is right now. Here's the disclaimers. Not a doctor, not a medical professional, nowhere near the pharmaceutical industry. Don't have any knowledge about that other than what I can Google. This is just meant to like be a casual conversation between friends, one of which who has considered taking this medication and just kind of like giving you the lowdown. And I'm definitely not here to be shaming anybody for wanting to take these.
You know, it's really fucking sad that we need to have all these disclaimers, right? How about if you don't like something, you just don't watch that person? Like, I don't want to trigger anybody. Fuck you. I don't give a fuck if I trigger any of you. I don't. If I trigger any of you, you're too fucking weak to watch me. Get the fuck out of here. I don't even understand. Like, it's the worst thing in society that we're all like, I don't want to upset anybody. I don't give a fuck if I upset anybody. How about that? I don't understand why people give such a fuck about it. If you being you upsets other people, fuck those other people, you be you. They have the option of not listening to you. They have the option of not being around you. If your words upset somebody because they're fucking pussy ass bitches, fuck off. I don't even understand how this is a goddamn thing, but we have reached the point where it's like everybody has to disclaimer everything. Like, I'm not getting into politics. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. Fuck you, all of you. What is wrong with society that we need to put disclaimers out to everybody? That's how weak we know society is. Like, she is giving a disclaimer because of the fragile muffins in her fucking comments section normally. And it's kind of sad. I mean, not that she's giving it. I understand why she is, because she's not me. And she has not built her platform off of saying real shit. She has built her platform very directly with trying to grow it. And that is something I pointed out right when she got in. Like, all of her videos, she's very good at marketing. All her videos had great thumbnails, had like almost 100% on the tags and stuff like that. And so I understand where she's coming from. But just as an aside, what a fucking sad statement on society that everybody needs to feel like, I'm not trying to upset anybody, or I'm not trying to say this. I'm trying to say whatever the fuck I want. If you don't like it, I don't give a fuck. If you interpret it in a way that hurts your fucking feelings, I don't give a fuck. If me not falling in line with your emotions upsets you, fuck you and your feelings. Like 10 times. I don't give a fuck. Sadness. It's really fucking sad.
These medications, taking these medications, because believe me, I know the grind. I know the struggle is real, and so if anybody finds success on whether it's
I like how she worked that in there because she talks about the struggle all the time.
Keto, carnivore diet, going vegan, taking Ozempic, gastric bypass, whatever it is, if someone finds success doing it and keeping off the weight, dude, round of applause, cheers to you. Like, bitch, it's hard out there. And my mission objective is not to say one way or the other is better. I'm just here to like mull over what I decided for myself and why. Because I have been spiraling for like the past 2 weeks, researching all of this stuff and
The research for it is just very insane, by the way. I mean, right now they're coming out with reports and studies that women are not only losing muscle mass, but their hair also. Like, a lot of people that take Ozempic go bald. And I personally don't got a fucking issue with that. But for me personally, but I just don't like when there is very clear when there's very clear alternatives. Like, I mean, I know these are my products, but when you can take Nomo and Alchemy together and we show a higher percentage of weight loss without side effects and removal of the food noise and sugar cravings and shit like that, I don't understand why people would take a very, very, very expensive, like 13 times more expensive than that. So, kind of crazy.
coming ultimately to a decision for myself. So I'm just gonna kind of go through like why I decided what I decided. I did make like kind of a lighthearted joke back in January on one of my shorts where I was like lifting weights in this like not even a minute long video, and I said something about like the goal here is to build muscle, this isn't Ozempic or whatever, just like kind of a nod at one.
I remember this, and she fucking got shit for it, but it's true. Like, people have a harder time building muscle on Ozempic because the rate of weight loss is more muscular. It's more lean mass than it would be than without it.
One of the very real symptoms of this medication because it does not discern between fat and muscle. And so as a result, a lot of people found themselves losing a significant amount of lean muscle mass, which not ideal for me personally with weight loss.
For anybody, it's not ideal for anybody. The only person that losing a lot of lean muscle mass would be ideal for is former pro bodybuilders, like or former pro powerlifters, or not even pro, but like even my fat ass. When I was very, very, very big, I had about 190 pounds of lean mass. I weigh 185 right now, by the way. Like, so I retained a decent amount of lean mass for the weight loss that I had. I retained somewhere around 168 to 170 pounds of lean mass, depending on the pump and everything like that. And I run anywhere between like, and that's when I'm at like, somewhere around 10% body fat. I would normally weigh about 185. It's between 185 and 190. So sarcopenia is a real thing. Sarcopenia is the loss of muscle mass as you age. And that's why if you don't have a lot of muscle mass on you, aging normally makes it so you're crippled. Like, because your joints start to break down, your muscle breaks down even further, you start getting absorption issues with the nutrients, and you start losing muscle mass. And people become much less active too.
In general, there is some muscle loss. It's just the way of the game, but it just seemed like there was just like a lot more with these medications. But we'll get into like all the side effects and pros and cons and all that stuff. But I just want to address that because people were like, medication shamer. And I was like, I thought that was pretty mild, but I guess so.
Yeah, it's Beatrice. That was pretty mild, and it was kind of funny. And that's why like they have to label you as a shamer, you see? Because they're so deep in their fucking feelings. And by the way, being on medication should be considered a last resort. Being on any type of pharmaceutical medication should be considered a last resort. Like, what can I do lifestyle-wise to avoid going on beta blockers, statins, any type of anti-inflammatories, those sorts of things, Ozempic, Wegovy, any type of medication for cardiovascular disease, like any type of insulin, metformin, stuff like that. Before you have to become a slave to the pharmaceutical industry, those should be considered a last resort. It's weird because I have been in my lifetime watched how the healthcare industry went from this model of being on medications was a last resort, like to manage people's health, to now they put even like fucking 12-year-olds on Ozempic. It's very clearly that the pharmaceutical industry and the healthcare industry don't give a fuck about you. They give a fuck about profit. If you accept that out of your life, if you accept that, wow, the healthcare industry really doesn't give a fuck about my health. They just care about me being like treating my illness. They don't give a fuck about your health. They give a fuck about treating your illness. If you don't have an illness, they don't get money. So they want you sick. It is not in any financial benefit to the healthcare and pharmaceutical industry to cure anybody. That's why the American Diabetes Association recommends that when you go on Ozempic or Wegovy, that you don't need to change your diet at all. That's why they still recommend sugar and stuff like that for diabetics. It's because they want you sick. The more sugar you intake, the more insulin you're going to use. The more insulin you use, the more money they make. Reality exists. I wish a lot of you could get there faster. But Beatrice, that's the thing. Like you pointing that out and then being like, oh, you're a medication shamer. That is the crux of what they do, right? That is like, they want you to feel bad about the truth. So they want to label you as a shamer because they think that has social credit. They think that has social leverage on you. And for a lot of people, it's true.
was what Chris Rock said about Jada Pinkett Smith at the Oscars, and Will Smith also got up and slapped him, so you never can tell. So the first time I ever heard the word Ozempic uttered was back in January of this year, and it was like brought up in the form of articles where it was just basically saying that celebrities were taking this to get thinner, like a thin get thinner situation. As with anything that celebrities do, people emulate it, and this was causing a shortage in supply for the people who like really needed the medication.
Point. If you believe, and this is for diabetics that are on Ozempic or Wegovy or whatever the fuck you're on, or even people that have been prescribed these medications for weight loss. If you think that the same industry could rally around making billions of fucking doses of a brand new experimental therapy that they are able to get out and distribute to, again, billions of people in a very short period of time, if you think that industry can't keep up with the supply of something that they know is going to actually be in high demand because they're pushing it like it was the next COVID cure or something like that. Like, they literally decided to push this. I even said in 2021, now that the COVID pandemic is dying down, watch them to push weight loss surgeries and harsh, serious weight loss drugs on everybody in the same fashion. And Ozempic, I mean, if you watch TV in any way, you're going to see an Ozempic commercial every day, multiple times a day. It is everywhere. They are paying influencers to talk about Ozempic on places like TikTok and YouTube and all these places. They are pushing these drugs so incredibly. It is not, I refuse to believe, knowing what I know about the healthcare industry, as I was an executive in it for many, many, many years, I refuse to believe that it is a raw material sourcing and or production capability issue. They are not, in fact, putting enough of this drug out for people so then they can keep the prices extremely fucking high. It is price manipulation by the pharmaceutical industry, which is what they do all the fucking time with every fucking thing. That's one of the reasons why they don't investigate things like ivermectin or things like, let's see, there's this fenbendazole. Sorry, God, my ADHD wouldn't let me say it. That's an it's a anti-parasite drug, cheap, safe, inexpensive, and it has 12 different proven anti-cancer mechanisms. It like helps cure cancer. But there's no long-term studies on it because they won't make any money. They don't give a fuck if you're healthy. They don't give a fuck if you're safe. They don't give a fuck about your future health. They don't give a fuck about your pain. They give a fuck about how much money you're going to make then. That's it. They're not going to put something like fenbendazole through, or they're not going to put something like Ozempic through that would just have you lose weight and never have to take it again. No. They tell people that they got to be on this shit forever. Like, they openly say, you need to stay on this medication forever because the weight will come back. You mean the fucking shitty ass fucking weight loss of 15 to 20%? Like, Beatrice here weighs about 240 pounds, right? If she would go on Ozempic, have to stay on it for the rest of her life, she's looking at losing somewhere around 36 pounds. She'd still be over 200 pounds as an adult female. She's still morbidly obese. Even if she would go on Zepbound, which boasts 20% after 78 weeks, which is just fucking pathetic, by the way. 20% for her, she is just under. She's in the 190s. Still morbidly obese for an adult female. But has to stay on it forever. Reality exists. They're not the miracle drugs they're being made to be out. Are there going to be outliers? Yes, there's going to be plenty of outliers that lose a lot more than 15 to 20%. And those are normally the people that very much change everything else about their lifestyle and use the time to develop healthy lifestyle habits, just like we suggest people do with No Morbidity and Alchemy. But the difference is No Morbidity and Alchemy are made to be weaned off of once your habits are instilled, and then you live a happy, healthy life without the side effects or anything like that. Where Ozempic, even with the healthy benefits, you're not actually learning to control your hunger. You're not rewiring your body to do it. And everybody, even their own studies say when people go off it, they regain most, if not all, of the weight. And some people gain even more. And for every person that loses a little bit more weight than the 15 to 20% for Ozempic or Zepbound, there's people that don't lose any fucking weight at all. Many people do not lose any weight on these drugs. Many people. The average is 15%. So for every person that loses 100 pounds, you got to have other people, multiple other people, that don't lose any weight.
The people it was for, which is diabetics. How they addressed this was a name change. So there are 2 weekly injectable medications on the market. You got.
So how did changing the name fix their production issues? Listen to this.
And this was causing a shortage in supply for the people who really needed the medication, the people it was for, which is diabetics. How they addressed.
So if there's a shortage of medication.
This was a name change. So there are 2 weekly injectable medications on the market. You got Ozempic and Wegovy. They're the same medication, but Wegovy is for weight loss. The Ozempic is reserved for people with diabetes. And then you have Mounjaro and Zepbound. The Zepbound is a weight loss one. Mounjaro is reserved for people with diabetes. For the same.
So I don't think she caught this. It's so far very informative, Beatrice. But I don't understand how that cures the supply chain issue. Like having just renaming a different dosage. How does that address the supply chain issue? It simply doesn't, And I've been, ever since I watched this video initially, I don't even get it. I don't even get it.
Sake and brevity of this video, I'm going to be referring to the weight loss ones because that's what I would be using it for.
Shortage of injectors, not medication. So if another company comes out with the same med, they may have a slightly different injector, hence bypass the supply chain issue. Nope. These medications have been being prescribed for 3 years now, in heavy quantity. That is also, you're telling me that the same industry that produced enough injectable stuff to put into billions of people in just a few month period of time, in 3 years haven't figured out a supply chain issue for injectors? That makes no sense either. That's not how the pharmaceutical industry works. Okay. Again, I understand a lot of people don't see it this way, but the injector has nothing to fucking do with it. If it did, they would find a different way to make the injectors by now. It's been 3 fucking years that they've been claiming that they have shortage of supply. 3 fucking years. If you have shortage of supply in brevity, I get it, because there might be a run on the drug, might be a run on a new study comes out, all sorts of shit, right? But this is 3 fucking years. The excuse is they want to keep the price high to make more money. That's the fucking reason. Reality exists.
Or because I don't have diabetes. So both these drugs are lumped together because they both impact hormone pathways in the body that help control blood sugar levels and help reduce appetite.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but I know that the delays from China were a problem. They were not actually a problem. They were not actually delays. They were purposeful. You get it. Not everything can be blamed on China. If that's the issue, then they would have gotten a different one. They would have gone with a different purveyor, right? It's the excuse they're using. Get there. They fucking lie. The pharmaceutical industry lies to you. The FDA lies to you. The CDC lies to you. They lie. They lie all the goddamn time. They lie. And if you don't think so, let's ask the FDA about ivermectin.
Which in turn leads to weight loss. However, they are different. Wegovy or Ozempic has been on the market and used for about 18 years, where Mounjaro, Zepbound, only 2. Wegovy is a single agonist affecting GLP-1. People are reporting total body weight reduction of about 14%, whereas Zepbound is a dual agonist, so it affects both GLP-1 and GIP. Zepbound is even more, with about 20% total body weight reduction, and word on the street is...
That's over 78 weeks. 78 weeks. So to put it this way, if Beatrice were to go on there, she'd lose about 48 pounds, weigh about 192 pounds, right? Again, she would end up still morbidly obese. But she would lose 48 pounds over 72 weeks. Anybody tell me how that's good results? I'll wait. But I'm just saying, as like, somebody that's dedicated their life to fighting the obesity epidemic, I'm saying that amount of weight loss for the amount of money and the amount of risk taken by the person taking it, that is extremely poor. The risk to reward ratio does not seem to in any way be in any way in line. That's where I'm coming from.
Is because the capitalism is capitalizing. We're going to be seeing a third little piggy coming to market that will affect 3 hormone pathways. It's going to be called like 3G, G3, something like that, where the goal is 24% body weight reduction. And here's like the thing with these types of things. Like it was crawling for a long time, and all of a sudden it's got legs and it is running full speed ahead, Usain Bolt. And ladies, I would be sitting here a dirty rat liar if I was telling you that I did not consider taking this. Like, it looks really appealing, not going to lie. And for someone who has struggled with
They make it seem really, really appealing. But then you do a little bit of research.
with trying to lose weight since they were 12 years old, and then being on the internet and doing it, and you would think that like having hundreds of people watching you would be a strong motivation to lose the weight.
No, that's why I told you not to in the very beginning. It's not a strong motivation, because what happens is there's going to be people online, no matter what, that are going to try to get you to fail. It happens to all of us. People like me and you who are online all the time. There are going to be people that want to see you fail no matter what. It's how they find enjoyment. So these people are going to get to you, right? The people that are just trying to discourage you, they are going to get to you. I openly told you and April Lynn Lauren that you shouldn't monetize your weight loss journey, because then you monetize even the negative aspects when you don't lose weight. The internet is not a place to publicly lose weight, if you ask me. It's like if you want to lose weight and then talk about your weight loss, that's great. And again, Beatrice has done a good job. Like I even saw her; she's homesteading, so everybody knows. That's a little. I respect the fuck out of that, by the way, because I think that more people should grow and raise their own food. But I don't think you should lose weight online, like as a public figure. It's very, very, very damaging. Cool shirt, you like that? Everybody see it? So, if you lie to the government, it's a felony, but if they lie to you, it's politics.
Weight and keep it off. I did not find that the case. I'm not here to make excuses about anything. I'm just sitting here telling you. While I was doing this research on this medication, I also did research in obesity, and I found statistics for the percentage of people who manage to get the weight off and keep it off, and the number is pretty sad. Something like 95% of people who have success losing about 10% of their body weight end up gaining it back within 1 to 3.
I'd love to see what research you got for that, because that's not really I've never seen anybody be able to produce that actual study that 95% of diets fail. I would love for that, but also I'm just going to point out, try 20 different diets. That means one will work statistically. Keep trying until you find the one that works, even if you have to go through 20 different ones, and you'll be good. I will argue this though. Stop worrying about a fucking diet and start changing your goddamn lifestyle. Stop eating ultra-processed food. You know it's bad for you. You know you keep going to it. You know it's your it's bitch. You know you are literally fucking addicted to it.
3 years.
Yeah, you can't find a percentage. Yep. But the constant majority of people gain it back. That's not even true either. People lose weight on diets. When they go off the diet, that's when they gain the weight back. You see what I'm saying? Like when you change your lifestyle, lose weight, and then you change your lifestyle back to the lifestyle it was before, expect to be fat again. It's reality, you know?
I have thought, like, what is wrong with me? Why can't I do this? Why can't I stick to it? Just like all the shame involved in that, and then like publicizing it.
Which was dumb. If only you would have listened to the angry bald man.
To a point where like not only you know your shame, but like hundreds of other people know your shame and berate you for it. Like there were people making the assumption that like I was just like not getting fit because it would give me more views on YouTube, which is totally not the case. Like this channel is dying, dead. Not losing the weight doesn't keep.
I will argue that it is the reason why you have a channel. Just in general. Like, and this is where I disagreed with her. I will argue that the only reason you have a channel is because of the weight loss thing. So, and the channel being dead, it seems to me like you've got a nice core of people that like you no matter what, that will defend you no matter what, even when you are wrong. That's not necessarily greatly healthy for you, but I would work off of that. And also just keep going just keep doing the homesteading stuff, try to make content out of that. It's an emerging area. Hopefully it'll be good for you.
People around, it makes people lose faith in you. So, well, the statistics.
Well, it makes people lose faith in you because in retrospect, you've lost no weight in 4 years. And you started as a come follow with me on my weight loss journey. So that's why I told you not to, you know?
Statistic of the 95% of people were like me was like mildly helpful, like maybe for like a fraction of a second. Then like this feeling of despair kind of took over, and girl, I spiraled. I was like, what the fuck? I started thinking about my own situation. I'm like, okay, I got the ADHD, I got the PCOS, I got anxiety and depression, and I have a binge eating disorder. What are my odds now of like actually being successful at this thing? So
I would put my ADHD in line with just about anybody's. By the way, where's it at? Here's how I control my ADHD. I haven't had any today because I've gotten great sleep, but Mental Jewels, Neurotropic from Ambrosia Collective, amazing. I take it before I need to study anything, and I take it right before evening rants, 8 p.m. tonight on X, Rumble, and on Spreely, but we start the first half an hour right here on YouTube.
Very heavily considering taking this once a week injectable medication that was seemingly the holy grail for.
And somebody did just point out, like you're talking about anxiety and like that, like maybe BetterHelp is not the thing for you. I understand they pay you, but damn.
My problems. Sorry, I had to change the battery pack. But here comes this like beacon of hope that's like not only this holy grail of like potential weight loss, right? But also
it's so bad. It's not. How is it a holy grail when it's 14 to 20%? I just don't even understand. Most people have got to, like, she would need to lose, like, if she's 240 right now, hang on, I'm going to do the math. She needs to lose 41% of her body mass to be considered healthy. 41%. So 41%, like, if you lose half of what you need to lose, but and then you stall and you need to stay on that medication forever, you're still obese, you're still going to have all the fucking trouble. And it's just, it's reality. This is not a game changer for anybody. These medications are not game changers. They have very serious high side effects with very serious possible unknown long-term consequences, completely unknown. And for very, what I would consider super weak results. They're weak. The results are weak. And again, I'm not talking about you if you lost 100 pounds on Ozempic. I'm talking about the averages that they boast, that is in their literature, are very pedestrian. They are not some sort of game changer.
People are reporting like the food noise just going away. And as someone who spends a good majority of the day thinking about food,
you can get the food noise to go away on No Morbidity and Alchemy. You can get the food noise to go away on these two supplements right here. You can get them at the link tree that I shared in my bio and everywhere. But you can get rid of the food noise there. I don't even get hungry at all. I don't even think about food. I think about it when I'm like, oh, what I'm going to cook, it's nice and tasty, because it doesn't give me nausea or, make me shit my pants at work, this is my work, like Ozempic does to people,
thinking about their next meal, wanting their next meal to be perfect. I've said it once, I'll say it a million times. I'm definitely someone who lives to eat rather than eats to live. Even though I do think that I have a pretty good handle on the binge eating disorder thing. I haven't binged in over a year, but I still do think about food all of the time.
That is out fucking standing. Everybody should congratulate Beatrice Caruso for not binging for over a year. That is an amazing fucking accomplishment. Amazing. You should be super fucking proud of yourself. Again, if you would take me up on my offer, we could help parlay that into a better, healthier, sustainable lifestyle. Because I believe that's the issue. A lot of people that are able to get their binge eating disorder under control are able to get it under control at a caloric load that is not going to have them be at a healthy weight. They get it under control eating more food than what they would need to eat on a daily basis. And that's where she is at right now. Because again, she's still like 240 pounds. So not binging for a year, which is an amazing accomplishment, Beatrice. You should be super fucking proud of yourself. Your lifestyle is still conducive to you staying here. And I think what you're worried about is that if you try to in any way reduce your calories or put more pressure on your body in through activity and reduction of calories, that will trigger a binge. And we can help you with that in our coaching. That's one of the things we do. I am 4 days away from 3 years and 4 months, no binges. 3 days away. Oh. Alan, would binge recovery be similar to alcohol recovery? I would argue yes. I mean, I treat my binge eating disorder like I treat I'm an alcoholic. You know.
There's still definitely that want sometimes when there's like an emotional trigger or whatever else to just full out gorge. And don't get me wrong, I've definitely like overeaten, but it's not the gorging, if that makes sense.
It makes perfect sense to me.
Any sense. Anyways, so
that was actually very, very, very well described. It really was.
Oh, of course there are risks with this kind of medication. I mean, it'd be silly to assume that there wasn't any. The loss of lean muscle tissue is one of them that I kind of cited earlier.
No risks.
The really common ones are nausea, vomiting, upset stomach, diarrhea kind of thing. And from what I understand, it's not mild. Of the 2 people I know that have taken it, it's like pretty aggressive to the point where they got off of it. Other side effects could include like dizziness, mild tachycardia, which is increased heart rate, infection.
Which is insane because that we know that these drugs increase heart rate. It's just crazy because the morbidly obese person's heart rate is already too fucking high. Like because their heart has to push blood to more body than what it's meant to. So their heart is beating harder and faster than it would normally while even at rest. So your heart's just going more and more and more because there's more body, you know, like my resting heart rate this morning was 47 when I first woke up, right? When I went morbidly obese, Alan, my resting heart rate never got below 70, ever got below 70. And that to me is just one of the things where I'm just like, why the fuck would we give this medication to fat people? You know?
Headaches, indigestion, probably from the delayed stomach emptying that's associated with these medications. And there's like a couple of severe but rare side effects too, which include pancreatitis, gastroparesis, that's that delayed.
If you have hundreds of millions of people on these drugs, rare could mean millions of people that get gastroparesis, meaning their stomach is paralyzed, oftentimes for the rest of their life. It's crazy.
Stomach emptying thing, but then like your stomach muscles just like stop working, right? So that food's just like sitting in there, and I hear the pains from that are pretty oppressive. And also an increased risk of medullary thyroid cancer, which I'm a little bit like confused on that. It says in the subscript that it's been observed in rat studies, but not in the human trials yet, but just to kind of like look out for it and like not to take it if you have like instances in your family of medullary thyroid cancer. Something that I was personally
yeah, they're not researching it to find out, by the way. They're not actually looking to see for that, which is just fucking insane.
Really interested in was its effects on anxiety, because as you guys know, I have that. So I was really concerned about this potentially making it worse.
I have known many people on these drugs, and they all report an increase in anxiety, which is crazy to me. Anxiety, depression, suicidal ideation. They're prescribing this to people that are on antidepressants. That's malpractice. I'm just going to put it right out there. If you know that a person has depression, anxiety, or even suicidal ideation, and you're a doctor, you know this, and you know they're on medications for it, and yet you prescribe a drug that could possibly increase the risk of depression, anxiety, or suicidal ideation, that's malpractice. You deserve to have your license taken away and be sued for everything you fucking own. 10 out of 10. And somebody said, there's a cancer. The thyroid cancer is a black box warning on Manjaro. It's also a black box warning on semaglutide, and semaglutide is the ingredient. Semaglutide is Wegovy and Ozempic. They just split it into two fucking things.
One like random TikTok I saw of a girl talking about her anxiety. She noticed that her anxiety got better, but she's also on anxiety medications. And another thing with the delayed stomach emptying of this injectable is it can...
Well, here's another thing too. You can't trust anybody talking positively about Ozempic on TikTok because they pay them to do so. Right? There's whole channels of people still fat, by the way, still morbidly obese, and talking about how awesome it is and this and that, blah, blah, blah. Like, if it was awesome, you wouldn't still be fat, technically. But reality exists, and these people are getting paid. So watching a person on TikTok say my anxiety got better, or, it got this. For a while, they were trying to say it cured so much shit. Like, it might be good for heart disease. Something that's going to make your heart beat more beats a minute, beat faster, that's not good for heart disease. It's just fucking not. I mean, I'm sorry. Like, if you have fat people and then all of a sudden they're going to have a higher heart rate because of the medication you put them on, that's not going to help their heart. It's just not. You stupid fucks. And it would be different if the weight loss associated with these drugs was enough to put people out of the obese category, so there would be less pressure on their heart. But it doesn't even do that. 15% for a 300-pound person leaves them over 350 pounds. Or look, for a 300-pound person, it leaves them over 250 pounds. Right? That's fucking crazy. Brella, I took Ozempic and regrew my leg. 10 out of 10. That's funny.
Affect whatever medication you're taking on top of it, because like the stuff in your stomach's not getting fully digested or not digesting as fast, so maybe you're absorbing more type of thing. So my guess is her anxiety medication just was able to work better or like absorb more into her system, because
I don't know about that, but I'm going to tell you this. That even logical progression shows me several things about Beatrice in this topic. She's been very much doing a lot of research and researching how obesity works and the dangers of obesity, yet alone how it functions, will help everybody to help you lose weight and understand the whys. Okay. I say this to everybody all the time. Like, I talk stats, facts, everything like that. I don't want you motherfuckers to take my word for it. Go look that shit up. Try to debunk me. Try to. When I say that that lifestyle-driven chronic illness is over $3 trillion a year in shared healthcare expenditure and resource usage, right? When I say that, it's based off of CDC numbers of how much we spend in total for our healthcare burden, which is about $4.5 trillion a year. That's what Americans pay. About $1.9 to $2 trillion of that is paid for by our taxes from the U.S. government. The federal government is the largest payee of healthcare expenditures, period. But if you look at it, 90% of all healthcare expenditure, according to the CDC, is from chronic illness and mental illness. And their lifestyle-driven chronic and mental illnesses are about 80 to 90% of that. So 90% of 4.5 trillion is 4.1 trillion. 90% of that is somewhere around 3.5 trillion. And I lower it down to say over $3 trillion a year is from people that eat too much, drink too much, and smoke too much in a very selfish and fucking completely privileged fucking fashion. That they, in fact, increase all of our expenditures for healthcare, pharmaceuticals, and they pressure the system. And they make it so our level of public health is so bad that people were terrified of a fucking cold 4 years ago. Because we all know, people like me, we're not worried about this fucking cold. And if you were in shape like me, and you were worried about the fucking cold, it's very likely because you're stupid and bought into propaganda. And I'm sorry that I know that means I'm calling a lot of you stupid, but if you fucking really thought that COVID was a world killer, you were dumb as fuck. I'm just going to put that out there. But and especially once they were starting to talk about, how natural immunity was ridiculous. Like, if you guys couldn't see that it was all propaganda, I'm sorry. But anyway, I digress.
Or stomach's not emptying as quickly. I don't know. That is just literally a whole guess. Like, this was just like one singular thing that I found, but also, I guess Ozempic babies are starting to become a thing because people are just becoming pregnant. It's either making like the birth control not as effective or like not absorbing, or my guess is the reduction in symptoms like PCOS and people who like don't think that they can get pregnant.
Oh, Casey, thank you very much. That's very nice of you. I'm down 45 pounds from my heaviest at 252 through lifestyle changes and Alan and Crystal's coaching. My resting heart rate went from 86 down to 62 beats per minute. That is a fucking victory. Everybody congratulate, because that is a very serious victory for your future health. That is out goddamn standing, Casey. You should be so proud of yourself, by the way. You should be so proud of yourself. Not just this, but I know. Because you get our coaching. So I know. And by the way, if you are interested in our coaching, you can get it at my link tree. Boom. Here we go.
Are still doing their activities full force and all of a sudden fertile. I don't know. But
which, by the way, just so everybody knows, that's only like 6 months. I think it's less than 6 months, I believe. And that's more weight than she would have lost with Ozempic after 50 or after 68 weeks. Just saying. I'm just saying.
It has an effect on the medication that you take. So that's something to watch out for. But there were like a couple of Reddit posts on people experiencing more anxiety and all this stuff. And anxiety is kind of like a weird thing because you can kind of think yourself into having anxiety, Like if you're nervous taking the medication, you might be nervous that it's like doing something to you. I don't know. So that's like a hard one to nail down and find answers for. So the risks of this medication are kind of scary. And it being relatively new to the market means that there are unknowns. We don't know what being on this medication would look like for a long period of time, and that's also a con. Is it's likely something that you'll just have to keep taking for the rest of your life because they...
Great fucking job, Beatrice. No shit. Like, this is a very well thought out, very well researched, very crucial video for your audience that may be considering taking this. I fucking applaud the fuck out of you. I really do. Like, I don't want anybody to say that just because I make videos when somebody fucks up or anything like that, that I don't look at it every single time, look at everybody every single time. Because I'm telling you right now, I am super impressed with this video from this young lady. I hope that you take me up on my offer to coach you for free. I would gladly do so. And again, I would never mention it to fucking anybody. I believe that I would do it anyway, one, because I make money. But this to me, is kind of selfless. Especially because so many people get paid for Ozempic and Wegovy stuff that she could have just gone that route. And instead, she totally fucking researched on her own and is having a very real conversation with her audience. This is the type of thing that I like to see in people trying to lose weight with a large audience. Having a very real conversation with people. I fucking applaud the fuck out of this. The fuck out of it. Great goddamn job, Beatrice Caruso. Great fucking job.
They did a study of the people who went off of it, and majority gained the weight back. So this isn't just like a get on it till I lose the weight type of thing. This would have to be a decision for seemingly forever. But along that same notion, the cons of being obese are not great at all. Okay, they are exponentially worse. And while you don't really know like the long-term effects of being on these medications, we do know the long-term effects of being obese. And those include... Girl, the list is staggering. High blood pressure, type 2 diabetes.
Oh, they're gonna call her fat phobic. Oh, they're gonna call her fat phobic. She's a fucking white supremacist, fat phobic, fucking Putin sympathizer now. Jesus Christ.
Cancer, heart disease, osteoarthritis, sleep apnea, stroke, gallbladder disease, high cholesterol, fatty liver disease, fertility issues, kidney disease, stroke, increased risk of some cancers, breathing problems.
30 cancers. It is estimated that close to 50% of all cancers are obesity driven, obesity related. There was a new study that came out just the other day. close to 50% of all types of cancer are obesity related. So I'm not expecting her to know that stat because it's something I keep track of. But literally just the other day, Mark and I are probably talking about it on Evening Rants tonight, because we line up all of our topics and all like that. Tonight we have Dominic Izzo, by the way, from Rants of Izzo. He's on Spreely with us and Rumble and on YouTube. Looking very forward to talking to him.
Problems, increased risk of anxiety and depression. Overall, being obese is just really not great. And it's nothing to do with like shaming people who are obese. I'm obese myself. It's just long term, it doesn't end well. Other than that.
But yes, I understand. Like you're saying that this isn't meant against fat people or anything like that, but you're going to be called fat phobic. You just listed off all the real shit and the real dangers about being obese. And in a world where people only feel comfortable imagining that the sky is purple with, rainbows going across it, unicorns dancing on those rainbows, shooting out glitter, where you can be 400 pounds and healthy, and nobody knows if you're healthy or not. They're going to call you fat phobic, a racist. You are ableist. What else? You're definitely a Zionist, or something like that. Whatever the fuck they're going to call you. They're going to. You're definitely a white supremacist for saying that being fat's bad for you, though. That's definitely because fat phobia and the black body, blah 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 blah, all that bullshit.
List, I currently only have the anxiety and depression portion. Everything else is normal. Well, I don't know about the fertility issues. I do have PCOS, but I've never tried or wanted to go down that path. So
if you lose weight, your PCOS symptoms will dramatically reduce, if not disappear.
Idea. But I definitely would qualify for being on Zepbound or Wegovy if I wanted to. However, I have decided, as enticing as it is, to not go that route. Even though it does have a lot of benefits and people have been having great success with it, here's what I see the scenario playing out for me as. I see myself getting on it, definitely having stomach issues because I have stomach issues normally. I don't see
Yeah, if you have stomach issues normally, why the fuck would you even risk this shit?
Myself skipping over that one. Not in my wildest dreams, okay? And I even see myself getting more severe side effects based on my track history and how my body betrays me at any chance it gets. I'm also really nervous about taking anything that would affect my hormones, based personally on having a very
Everybody should be.
Adverse reaction to ADHD medicine. When I got diagnosed with that, they bounced me around on a ton of different medications with a ton of different dosages within the span of 3 months. And I believe that led to a mental breakdown, which...
I'm very sorry to hear that. Again, I manage my ADHD through good sleep, hydration, working out daily, and mental jewels. I'm not saying that's what everybody should do. I'm saying that that's how I manage my very clear, raging ADHD. Like the fucking conversations and it's insane. Anyway.
Put me in this whole state of panic for a month. I'm not 100% sure because, real life doctors aren't like House. There's not 5 of them sitting around figuring out your medical mysteries, but...
They don't care. They want you on medication. That's what they want you on.
It just coincides with what happened. And also, I took my Vyvanse pill and immediately got a little twinge of panic that went away after 20 minutes. And I was like, that was weird. That's something that doesn't happen normally.
I've known people that have been on Vyvanse that have had seizures, full-on psychotic episodes, so many things.
I'm prone to anxiety, but this was just something different, something on a whole new level, but yeah, completely disrupted my life, and I'm still dealing with the effects of that. Not as bad, but yeah, it makes me super apprehensive to just try stuff out for funsies. I digress. But also, I would want to stay on this medication just until I lost the weight, which doesn't seem to be a thing. As far as research shows, the people who get off of it gain the weight that they lost back, or at least the majority of it. So that would mean I would subject myself to the negative side effects of the medication, as well as still being obese and having all those negative side effects of obesity. So without staying on it for the rest of my life, I don't know. I mean,
extremely well thought out and put, because that is exactly it. You would put yourself in the way of all the negative side effects of the drugs while still being obese, because it would not help you get out of being obese, because your size would dictate that it would still leave you morbidly obese.
The goal would be to work on having a healthy relationship with food and finding...
We can help you.
healthier habits and stuff
We can help you.
while being on the medication. But my whole thing is like, if I don't have the thoughts of food constantly, if I'm not getting the same dopamine hit from like eating that I normally do, you know, because a big thing that they say is like it kind of alters your reward system in your brain, where like eating doesn't have the same effect as it did.
This is true. Alan got 6 different Allens going, all going down through rabbit holes at the same time. That's very true. It's very, very true. That's a very good insight into my brain. Very good.
As far as like comfort eating and stuff like that, I just don't think that there would be much to work against. Whereas when I go off the medication, all that stuff would be back, right? And then it'd just be square one, where it'd be like me gaining the weight back because all of a sudden those things are present again. To me, it kind of.
So real quickly, I wonder if people are even capable of building a healthy lifestyle while on Ozempic and Wegovy. Because from what I understand, the side effects are normally most predominant for the first 3 days after you get the injection. So the nausea, the diarrhea, the headaches, the sweats, the increased heart rate, the general feeling like shit is very pronounced for the first 3 days. So the chances of you having a very different set of daily habits for the first 3 days after your injection compared to the 4 leading up to the next injection, the 3 or 4 leading up to the next injection, are pretty high. So if you feel like you have, you know, some sort of flu or something like that for half the week, how are you going to be able to build consistent habits when you feel super sick for half the fucking week every week? Like, you're not going to be able to build up healthy habits. You're not going to be like, the concept of you going and getting daily serious physical exercise kind of goes out the window when you're worried about shit in your pants. The concept of you even going for a walk when you're so nauseous the thought of food makes you throw up isn't really a good thing. The eating of anything that you can palate, which normally leads to ultra-processed foods while on Ozempic and stuff like that, that is not a healthy habit. I wonder how many people are actually, I think the only people that are actually able to like really, really, really build healthy habits, and I would imagine this is the majority of people that lose over the average of 14 to 20% for Ozempic and Mounjaro. I would imagine those people are just the lucky people that have very low adverse side effects, that their body does not process in a way that produces the adverse side effects. Because if they lose that weight, it's obvious that they're working on their consistently working on their personal habits.
It sounds like being sick. Like, not saying like people who are taking this medication are sick. I'm just saying that when you're sick, you oftentimes don't feel like eating. You know, you probably lose some weight. And then all of a sudden when you're not sick anymore, you don't just magically keep that weight off most of the time. Like, you gain it back because you feel like eating again. I see it being like that. I don't know. So like, after doing all this research and seeing how stacked the odds are against people trying to lose weight in any form long term, where does that leave us? My main focus is going to be on keeping the weight off rather than just the weight loss. And of the real life examples that I know of people who have lost the weight, like people that I personally know who have lost weight and kept it off, they change entirely, like not just in physical appearance. So that kind of has to be like the ultimate mindset. Like,
yes, you completely changed. I do think from looking at her content that she has been doing a lot of self-reflection and stuff like that, moving over to like, she's got chickens and stuff like now to try to be more self-sufficient. I think you're on the way. Like, focus on you. Don't put it online as much. And again, Beatrice, if you watch this, I would reach out to me. I promise you it would be in private. I could help you. I guarantee you I could help you. I won't bullshit you. You know that. But I could help you.
Not just changing in the short term, but it kind of just has to be like, okay, this is just the way that it's going to be from now on. And that might be a difference because I know that I can lose weight. I've lost significant amount of weight several times in my life. The problem is I always gain it back. And to be honest, I have this thing with like a self-destructive tendency that probably needs to be addressed. Because like this last stint when I was doing like the no added sugar thing, which...
So maybe the year to 2 years of sponsorship from Better Health wasn't a great idea.
Ultimately ended up being like mainly eating whole unprocessed foods, which ended up working great for me. I got sick, and then I got a bunch of comments from people saying like, oh, you never finish anything, and surprise, surprise, she didn't finish this, or whatever else. All of things that I was personally telling myself, and that's why those comments are hurtful, because I'm already saying that stuff to myself, and then you got other people noticing.
So in other words, they're true. They're hurtful because they're true.
It too, so of course, it becomes true, despite...
No, they are true.
actually getting really sick and losing the weight. But it just kind of like when something.
So yes, but like that was one instance. Like, and one more time. If people don't know, they're going to assume, and especially online. And I understand why she wouldn't want to come out and say, well, I had a nervous breakdown, because people would be fucking dogging her on that. I'm surprised people weren't on this. And that's really a fucked up thing to do. But the reality is, you know, if you go back to your old way, it's like people like I personally can tell you everything I've ever said about you or to you has been 100% true and based in fact and reality.
Negative happens, I feed into it and I'm like, yeah, you are a piece of shit. Let's make you really a piece of shit and make you feel worse. Like there's.
Then you shouldn't be online, Beatrice. You shouldn't be online then. If that's the case, if comments online negatively affect you and cause you to do stuff that could be self-harming, you shouldn't be online.
There's just something to that I need to not do anymore if I want to actually do this thing. But yeah, that's all for now. Some of you asked how I felt about the whole Ozempic thing and if I would consider trying it, so this is my answer. Sorry.
Very good. Very, very, very good. So again, one more time, I know that I am very critical of this young lady, and I think for very valid reasons, but I always want everybody to understand when I see somebody that I think, even though I've been critical of them before, they come up with good content or very important content or, you know, critically thought out content, that I'm going to point it out. Beatrice, one more time, just for everybody, one more time, please, please, please take me up on this offer. Reach out to me any way you can. You can go to my link tree that I'm going to put right here, and you can send me an email or message on any of the social media platforms that you don't have me blocked on. And I could help you. And I would do it completely privately. I'd even sign an NDA to make sure that you would feel secure in that. So, and that's my offer to her. I hope everybody has a fabulous day. Tonight is Dominic Izzo from Rants of Izzo on Evening Rants with myself and Mark Loveliner, 8 p.m. Eastern time here on YouTube, X, Rumble, Spreely. But we will also, after the first half an hour, we get off of YouTube so we can just let the fuck loose and say whatever the fuck we want. So please do check that out. And that will be on X, Rumble, and Spreely. You can get the links right here for all of those things. I hope to see you guys tonight. God damn.